In talking to my friends, there's quite a lot of people that are very excited about AI, but then there's people that are absolutely terrified by it as well. One of my friends thinks that composers won't be needed in the future and we won't exist. He said, I can just type sad piano into a box and out it pops in seconds. And I thought, well, that's great, isn't it? So I got thinking about AI and what the consequences are going to be, and in reality, none of us really know. But we have chefs and we have ready meals. So without the chefs, the ready meals wouldn't have existed. But even though we've got ready meals, we still use chefs. I mean, technically, a ready meal is a food and it's got all the calories you need, but we still use chefs. We cook, we get fresh ingredients and we make food from scratch, still. And would you want to have ready meals at your wedding, or would you hire a chef? The truth is, it is getting harder to find clients for stock music, and that's what I've been doing for many years. Stock music is generic by nature, generally, and often just sits in the background. It's like wallpaper, isn't it? So there's a formula to it, especially with certain genres like corporate music. And yeah, I know some people will disagree with me, but it's a formula. We have a set number of chords. We usually use the same chords. We use the same sounds. And then all we do to make it different and to have the copyright aspect in it is create a different melody. And in truth, AI is very good at creating this background wallpaper stuff. It does it in seconds, and it never needs a break. So what would take me hours to create, it can do now in seconds. I mean, I've written plenty of these tracks myself over the years. Take this one, for example. As you can hear, there's the formula. You've got the guitar plucks, you've got the bright piano, you've got the upbeat sound. You've probably seen these on a million corporate videos. It's perfectly fine, isn't it? It does the job, but it does follow a predictable pattern. And this formula is very easy for AI to just copy and use. But there is a snag with applying that same logic to films. The fact is, AI doesn't understand films in the same way, because the music in a film isn't always as formulaic as that. I mean, it changes rapidly and it has to adapt to the sort of patterns of what's going on in the film and the emotion of the film. AI just hasn't got a clue what is a good film, what's a good story, and doesn't really understand the nuances of emotion. It still needs a human to come up with the ideas for the film, still needs a human to put all the clips into a timeline and edit it and direct it. I've watched at least 100 of these AI films now, and it's far from just putting a prompt into an AI service and spitting out a film. There's a lot of time goes into making these films, even with AI, and it really needs a human still to create decent music for a film. Because they're made of individual little clips that are all stitched together, just like a conventional film, really. The soundtrack doesn't sort of flow. There isn't a soundtrack. Any of the clips that have got sounds in just seem to fade out and then fade into the next clip. There's no consistency in the sound design, and there's no consistency in the music, generally speaking, in a lot of these films. I mean, clearly there's people that have gone to the trouble of hiring a composer and a sound designer, and their films are an exception to the rule. And at the moment, it just all feels a bit awkward on nearly all of the films I've watched, which is good news for composers and sound designers like myself. So many of these films are really, really good, and the time that people have put into them is amazing. The result really sort of shines through. But the soundtracks, mostly, they're just a bit wallpaperish. They're a bit ready meal, you know? When a real person creates a soundtrack, well, they look at the thing as a whole story, and then they look at what emotions needed, where the hit points are, and then they come up with music just to fit with that film. Yes, a film cue. And that is different to writing a piece of music from start to finish. You know, writing a 2-minute piece of music from start to finish is completely different to putting music to a video or film. The actual music in the film might be 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and so on, and all the rest of it is sound design and different elements of music to join it all up, to make it all flow and make the emotions work correctly. So what I'm finding is that AI just plays wallpaper music in the background, and doesn't really do anything with music. He doesn't seem to know when there's somebody crying or whether somebody's jumping off a cliff. It just seems to carry on in the background with no connection to the film. So I've decided to stop making wallpaper music as a composer, and instead I'm going to focus on bespoke custom soundtracks for films like these. I mean, most of the ones I've seen have got sort of a grand vision to them. People are really putting effort into them, and they deserve to have decent soundtracks. And while AI hasn't got this part of my ability, then this is what I want to do going forward. So the future of my work isn't pretending that AI doesn't exist or slagging it off like many people are doing. It's about being a person that takes AI's capabilities and logic and adds some humanity to it. You can generate millions and millions of notes from a computer, but to create a moment that's memorable and effective in a film, you need a soul. And that's where I think the merit still lies. We're not being replaced, but now there's more reason than ever to be human. And that means focusing on the bits the machine can't do and to bring our own originality and emotion to it.